Hello everyone and welcome along to another night's racing in TGP1 season 34. We are here for rounds 11 and 12. We're coming up to the halfway point of the season now tonight with rounds 11 and 12 here at Austria and Britain. First session is well underway. As we can see, we've got about just under 3 minutes left in qualifying even here in Austria. The rain is falling on our screen. We've got Corey setting the fastest time currently, sitting in his pit box with a 1 minute 3.2. And then we have Knighton in second on a 103.3. Kyle in third on a 103.366. Then we have, it's very close actually, Dan the Man in fourth on a 397. And then Phil in fifth on a 3.514. So, 2 minutes roughly to go in the session now. Rain is falling here in Austria around this 4.3 kilometre circuit. And we're joined in the commentary box tonight by Dom. So, hello Dom.
Good evening, Owen. Good evening, everyone. Two real, proper racing circuits here tonight. Austria being my personal favourite to race around on this calendar. If you can hook up the middle sector and get a nice rhythm through turns 9 and 10, there's a good chance your lap time will be right up there in the fight for pole position. You always get a really tight qualifying here. Pole we were expecting to be around the 1 minute and mid 2 second lap, but of course the rain has put paid to that. Now we're not going to see those kind of lap times. Corey currently quickest on a 1 minute 3.2. A 2 minute 5 would have been about a second quicker than we saw in TGP2 last week, but instead it is Corey currently on pole. I don't think that's going to be changing. It's going to be another pole position for Corey this season.
Yeah, so leading into tonight, since we're probably not going to see many improvements, I'm keeping an eye on Corey, who's on a flying lap at the moment. He's slightly down in that first sector. So we've got Kyle leading the championship coming into tonight on 148. Matt Tibos, who unfortunately is not here tonight, is up second on 119. Dan the Man is third on 107. Then we have Corey currently on board with now, who's up fourth with 96, and J Luke is fifth in the championship on 86 points. So like we said, we've got about a minute left in this session now. We're just watching Corey come through turns number 6 now through that middle sector. He's about a tenth down, so I think he's not going to improve on this lap, but I think he might comfortably have this pole position, Dom.
Yeah, it's looking very good for Corey. As I said, it's going to be his third pole of the season, looking for his third win of the season. The rain pretty much gifting in pole position here. Set the quickest time in the early part of qualifying. He's not improving on those tyres, so yeah, not as far off as I thought he'd be, but yeah, still definitely going slower than he was earlier. But yeah, Corey looking good here, and Speed 9 in a very excellent P2, only a tenth off pole position in fact.
Yeah, just seeing if anyone else is on flying lap at the moment. We've got Jack Hickey, who's also on a flying lap, coming through turn 6 himself now in the tracing point. What's his time going to be? Is he going? Nah, he's a long way down on his previous. I think no one is going to go any quicker than that. Risky's on an outlap, but he's not going to get to the line in time, so I think that is it for this qualifying session. So it looks like it's going to be Corey and Knighton on the front row, followed by Kyle, Dan the Man, and then Phil Bardwell in 5th place. So going into tonight, you said there's been, what, 7 different winners in 7 different races you were speaking about earlier?
Yeah, so this season has been very open. We arrive here with 7 different winners from the last 7 races. Let's just quickly go through those winners now. Matt Tibos, victorious in China. We had that incredible race at the Netherlands, which saw Jamie take the first league win of his career, snatching it from teammate Kyle on the final lap in changeable conditions. Khalifa and John won the next 2 races at Spain and Monaco. Dan had led large parts of Monaco, but a strategic mistake from him gifted it to Jean, but Dan the Man did fight back in Canada, taking the victory there. Kyle took his first win of the season. Up until round 8, it took him to get that first win, championship leader, but he took it around the streets of Baku, and then of course last week it was Machine Fishy who mastered the wet conditions around France to hold off Matt Tibos and make it 7 from 7. And Corey, if he can win here today from pole position, he'll be making it 8 from 8, and that streak will continue into the next race for Silverstone a little later on tonight.
Yes, that's what we like to see. We like to see variety. Variety is the spice of life, as they say, as we finish up this qualifying session and go through the full results. So Corey, like we mentioned, has got pole position, just under a tenth to back tonight and in second. Then we've got Kyle in his Williams in third and the championship leader. Dan the Man in fourth. Then we've got Phil Bardwell and CJ in sixth. Then we've got Jake Davis in seventh. J Luke in 8th, Kong Hoffner in 9th, and Waze rounding out the top 10. Then we have Jack Hickey in 11th in the tracing points, Kurt in 12th. Then we got Speed Risky in 13th, Newgarden in 14th, Chiapelli in 15th, and he was the last of the runners in this qualifying session. So what do you expect to happen in these 18 laps here around this 4.3 kilometre circuit if it's a dry race, Dom.
Well, we do expect it to be a dry race. I think Corey has to set a marker down today. He has to get himself back into that title hunt. He's already quite a distance back from Kyle. Kyle starting on third. Kyle will need to himself make sure he gets more consistent results tonight. He seems to have changed his focus this season. Not necessarily going for the race wins, but taking the consistent results, trying to get those podium finishes to get enough points to win this championship. But Corey has to do something about that points lead that Kyle already has. Corey will need a good start. He'll need to stay in front. And hopefully this week he'll be a bit more luckier with the strategies and the safety cars during the race. But this race is wide open. And I think even Knighton from P2, if he can get a good start and take the lead, he's got to be a shout to take his first win of the season as well.
He probably has indeed. Meanwhile, we've got the final few seconds ticking away, ready to go for round 11 in TGP1 season 34 here at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. 18 laps in front of the drivers today. Like we said, around this 4.3 kilometre circuit, 10 turns officially on the track map. There's probably only 8 actual corners on this circuit if you take away turn 2 and 5 as corners as we get ready to go here round the Red Bull.
Well, it's lights down, away we go to Austria. The fantastic stuff from Corey. He's kept the lead from Knighton. Kyle is in third for now. Dan the man in P4. He's got the start he needed. CJH up into 5th position. It's the Rebels in 6th and 7th. But it is Corey who got the start he needed. He does lead this race. He needed to stay ahead of Speed 9. And he's done just that. Kyle for now still slots into 3rd. Still looking good behind those front 2. But Corey is in the lead of this race. Dan the man in 4th. We've got the 2 Rebels of Jake and Phil fighting for 5th and 6th side by side as they come down to this turn 5 corner. Who's going to be ahead into the next corner? Dan the man just about bent off both of them. Jake getting very close behind him. In the background, I think Jack Hickey has passed Con Hoffner into P8. So it was a good start from Corey. The start he needed in that race. The best start so far. I think 11th on the grid. And J. Luke has dropped down to 11th. In fact, so he's dropped 3 places himself. That's the last thing he needed to do. But Speed 9 looking very racy in that AlphaTauri. Looking very good to try and hold on here. To try and get past Corey. Try and hold off Kyle, who's right behind him, just 3/10 the gap. Is Kyle going to go for a move here on Knighton into turn 1? The Williams driver looking racy, but not close enough, unfortunately, to take that position. Speed Knighton, how long can he hold back that Williams of Kyle? Kyle has only won 1 race this season, the championship leader. Can he get win number 2 tonight? Both drivers in front of him are yet to win a race. Well, Corey hasn't won since the opening week. 9 has not won since, I think, ever in TGP. The top tier, so it'll be a first win for him if he can just hold on to that position. Jake continues to lead his teammate Phil. The best battle at the moment seems to be between the top 3 of Corey, Knighton and Kyle here.
Does indeed.
The disastrous start. Oh, sorry, Evan, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back now after my calamity in the Norfolk data centre connection, but we're back. I'm back in the commentary box and we're ready to rock and roll as we see Corey leading from Knighton and Kyle. So what happened in the opening lap, just to remind me, Dom?
Yeah, so it was a pretty clean start from everyone. Corey kept the lead he needed to keep. As we see, Luke could get a time penalty. Time penalty is going to be crucial around here. But yeah, it was a good start from Jake and from Jack Hickey. Both have gained a couple of places. But it is Corey who for now leads, and I think Knighton is only just about holding off Kyle at the moment.
Yeah, meanwhile, further down the field, we've got the 2 Red Bulls actually nose to tail as well. Jake Davis just ahead of Phil Barker, and he's bringing on CJ along for the ride with him. And also there's trains all over the place. There's side by side between Waze and J. Luke. This is the battle for P10 and the final point, Dom.
J. Luke needs to get himself back into the points positions. He had a disastrous start, losing 3 places. Not quite sure what happened to the Williams driver. His teammate up in 3rd, whereas we've seen Speed Newgarden go off ahead of him. So that's an extra place gain for J. Luke.
Knighton's going around the outside of Corey into turn number 4, and Corey's just about held on for the time being.
Battles throughout the field. It's hard to pick one, but it is the front which we need to stick with now. Corey and Speed 9, just 3/10 between them. 9 looked like he was just trying to defend from Kyle. 3/10 the difference between the front 3. This is incredible.
Yes, it is indeed, as we've got Knighton all over the back of the Mercedes in the AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri want to repeat some of their success in real life here in the virtual world this race, picking up a win. They picked one up here in Monza, but Knighton's not going to help himself picking up a 3-second time penalty there, Dom.
Both drivers ran very wide into the final corner. That's the last thing they need. That's going to be a warning, and that's Knighton's 3rd warning of the race. It's his first 3-second time penalty, and if Kyle can just slot back in 3rd, let the 2 in front fight, as long as he doesn't get a penalty himself, he might take the position.
Yeah, Knighton heading up the inside, going through the kink that is turn 2. Going to be up the inside into turn 3. Can he get the move done? Doesn't want to run too wide, don't want to make a poor exit. He just about hangs on. Bit of a slide there from Corey, and that's given Kyle the opportunity to maybe have a move down into turn number 4 now. He's going to look up the inside into turn 4. Can Kyle get the move done? Late on the brakes, and he's just about got the move done. So that is Knighton and Kyle both past Corey. Corey's had a bit of a stinker there. But Kyle, so I had to hold my breath there. Corey went and tried to go for a move up the inside of Kyle in turn number 6, and Kyle just about said, nah, you're not having any of that. Meanwhile, Dan the Man has now joined the back of the train, and Knighton's scarpering off into the distance.
It was a disastrous couple of corners for Corey. He had Knighton up his inside. That put him a bit out of rhythm for the next corner, which allowed Kyle to go through. Now Dan the Man has a great run on Corey to maybe take P3 off him. Corey knew very late, but Dan the Man has enough space to take the inside and I think take the position. Dan the Man into third, but runs very wide, late on the brakes, and Corey back into P3.
Yeah, just too late on the brakes there from Dan the Man. Couldn't get the move done because of that late braking, and he's put himself back down into P4. Meanwhile, Corey's trying to make up for lost time now. He's going to have DRS. This DRS train is forming behind Knighton now instead of Corey. Kyle's got DRS open. Corey's got DRS open. Corey's the most likely to make a move maybe on Kyle, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough into turn 4, Dom.
Yeah, I think a bit too far back. Unfortunately, Kyle keeping with Knighton 9, of course, carrying that time penalty. Worth to keep an interest on Aidan Griffin's back in 11th, 5 places gained, and he's the highest of the alternate strategy runners on the medium tyres. So he'll be pitting a little later on. May in fact find himself ahead of these 3 later on when these 3 choose to pit. Yeah,
he definitely could indeed. Look at the quick position change, and yeah, Aidan's made up the most positions as well from where he started, and Kong Hoffner's down 7 places from where he started. He had an incident somewhere, I think, because he's already made his stop.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened to Kong, not what he needed. I think, yeah, it must have been from wing damage. Mr. Chiapelli looking for his first points of the season, the only driver yet to score points this season. He's currently in P13, he needs to gain 3 more places if he's to take that point, and we can see already, Speed 9 coming up to lap another car. I think that is Courts. I think Courts had a disastrous start to this race.
Meanwhile, Kyle's actually very close to the back of Knighton this time round now. They're coming up to actually lap people already, so that's not what the leaders want. Maybe Knighton could get the DRS. I don't think he's quite close enough to put the lap down car this time round. Kyle's got the DRS open on his Williams. Not quite close enough, I don't think, to make a move on Knighton into turn 4 though.
Yeah, getting closer and closer, but Knighton for now holding off, doing a very good job, a stellar job of keeping Kyle behind. It's crazy to think Kyle's only won 1 race all season. The championship leader with such a healthy lead has only won 1 race in, I think, what, in 10 rounds? Can he finally get the second tonight? Can Speed 9 continue this amazing run of different winners in different races? Speed 9, though, it's going to be hard to keep Kyle back, especially with that 3-second time penalty. He's going to have to try and pull 3 seconds at some point.
Yeah, he has indeed, and this DRS train keeps going and going. The train of 4 at the front, that is Knighton. Kyle, Dan the Man's actually pulled into the pit lane. He's going to be the first guy to jump onto the medium tyres, I suspect, Dom.
Yeah, so he was the first runner to dive into the pits. It might actually be the hard tyres he's going to. He's switched from the softs. In fact, it is, sorry, the medium tyres. He should come into some clean air. He'll be behind Speed Iceman, I think, his teammate. So surely Iceman will get out of the way and let his faster teammate in this race through. But Dan the Man had to make a call there. He's decided to do it on end of lap 6. This will be very interesting. How did the front 3 now react?
Had a bit of a slide coming out of turn 3, and that means Corey is now all over the back of him going into turn 4. Is he going to have a look up the inside? Is he going to try and make the move stick? He thinks better of it this time round. But with Dan the Man pitting already, someone is probably going to pit this lap to try and defend that undercut.
Yeah, so we've got great battles throughout the field. We've got Risky is up into P8 side by side with Waze. We've got Aidan Griffin's right behind the pair of them. Aidan has taken Speed Risky into P9. Beautiful move. Waze and Risky were fighting side by side, and Aidan saw his opportunity, saw the position, and has taken it straight off him. But yeah, with Kyle and Corey fighting at the front, this is great news to Dan the Man. Will we see any of the front 3 pit this time round? 9 dives into the pits. Kyle pits and Corey pits too. They're all in.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how these stops get on, see if anyone jumps each other. Need to be careful on the pit entry. And we need to see where they all come out compared to Dan, who's had a lap longer. He's just coming through turn number 9 on the track map now. Just got 1 more corner. They're all in the pit lane. Have they all finished their stops yet, Dom?
Yeah, so they're coming out the pit lane now. Dan the Man cleared his teammate. His teammate did not make it hard for him, so that's exactly what Dan the Man needed. Can Dan the Man? He's done them all. He's taken them all, I think.
No, he's not going to quite have Knighton. He's going to be very close with Knighton. Meanwhile, see Chiapelli still in front of him. But Knighton, he's all over the back of Knighton. He's jumped Kyle and Corey. Knighton defending heavily to the inside now, so Dan the Man's going to have to go the long way around through turn 3, Dom.
9 will be smart, he'll push in wide. Dan the Man looked like he was about to take all 3 of them. The undercut really has worked for the Scouts driver. He's into P8, which is a net P2. Going to the left of 9. Can he get round the outside here? Albon style round the outside. Knighton leaves him enough room. Dan the man with extra grip. The two of them side by side. Brilliant racing from these two. At the front of the field. Fighting over the race victory here. And Dan the man's taken the position.
Yeah, Dan the man taking the lead. Had the inside line going into turn 6. And that was job done there. But he has got the older tyres. So that could come back to bite him towards the end of the race. But Knighton isn't going to let him go that easily, is he, Tom?
He's not, and we've seen Aidan Griffin's almost getting through Wade. He's getting very close to the Renault driver, just can't seem to get through. These two are now P1 and P2 in the race. Newgarden will be promoted into P3 if he stays out. In fact, no, he has stayed out, so Dan the man now into P4 will want to pull a gap on Knighton because Kyle and Corey is right behind the pair of them.
Right, he's not going to have DRS down this straight, so Dan the man is going to be in a bit of trouble down this straight from Knighton into turn 3. He's going to be close enough, most likely, though, if he can get the move. But Knighton's diving to the inside of turn 3, and he can't quite make it stick, can he? He's going to get the better traction, actually, but Dan the man will have DRS himself this time, thanks to Speed Newgarden in front. Knighton's teammate, they've all got DRS, and there's a train for him, and Kyle's looking down the inside. Dan the man is going to get the move done. Yes, he is. No, they're still side by side. I think Dan might hold on through turn 6, Dom.
I don't think he will. I think Kyle's got this corner. If he can keep around the outside, two of them side by side, who's going to have the better traction? It is Kyle who takes the position. So Dan the man has dropped a couple of places in a couple of corners. Knighton back into the net lead of this race. Aidan has overtaken Waze to take over at the front. Newgarden will surely dive into the pit lane, having given his teammate the DRS for the next straight. In fact, no, I don't think he will. In fact, Newgarden has let his teammate through, and this is not what Kyle and Dan needed, because now these two are losing time to Knighton in front.
Yeah, he is indeed. He's let his teammate through. He's given his teammate the gap, which is fair play. It's good team orders there from AlphaTauri. Let this quicker guy through, and then try and back up the guys that are battling so hard for the lead. I think he's going to be a sitting duck going into turn 3 though.
And Dan the man on the inside of the pair of them. Can he take both cars? Both Newgarden and Kyle Dan the man with the inside line, 3 abreast. They got Corey right behind. These 4 getting very close. And Dan the man is in P3, but now Corey's going to take over from Dan, I think, on the left.
Yeah, that was always going to end badly for one of those 3 going through that corner, being 3 abreast. Corey's going to look to the outside into turn 4. Is he going to try and hold on? There's a bit of argy-bargy, a bit of wheel contact, but I think it's just about done, and Corey's up into P3 at the moment, which will be a net P3 once Hayden makes his stop.
This race is remarkable. Throughout the field, we've got so many cars. We've now got Newgarden, Jake, CJH, Phil Bodwell, and Mr. Chipotle all on the back of this train now. As Phil Bodwell loses it from P9. Just lost the back end of that Red Bull. Didn't quite save it. He's dropped down to P10 now as Newgarden finally comes in for new tyres from P6. So Aidan Griffins continues to lead this race then. 5.5 seconds the gap over Knighton. Corey is a second and a half back from Knighton. Of course, Knighton carrying a 3-second time penalty. We've got Kyle right on the back of Dan the man. These two side by side again for about the 5th time this race. Who will be first into this next corner? Looks like Dan the man is going to brake a little later, maybe a bit too late. Tries to be smart on the next acceleration of the next corner, and Kyle has to now settle in behind, and Jake also joining this fight, looking for his first win of the season. Former champion Jake getting very racy. CJH behind him too, so this train of what was 3 cars has now suddenly become about 6 cars for the race win. This is brilliant stuff at the front. Aidan Griffins will surely be coming into the pit soon to go on to the soft tyres. I expect to come in at the end of either this or the next lap, do about 7 or 8 laps on the softer rubber. 5 seconds is gap over Knighton. Expect Aidan to come in around, I think, the P10 or P11 when he makes that stop. That's where Waze netted out when he came into the pits, but Aidan does hit this time round. So at the moment, it is Knighton who will take over again at the front. He is the new race leader. Corey in 2nd position, and Dan the man will be into 3rd with Kyle right on the back of him. Will Kyle go for a move into turn 1? He's looking very close. Dan the man just about holding on to this podium, and this of course helps Speed 9 at the front carrying that time penalty. Jake Davis not quite close enough to get involved in this fight for the podium at the moment. Will Kyle go up the inside into turn 4? Just a little too far back, unfortunately, for the Williams driver. Dan the man holding on excellently from that P3. Pitted a lap earlier, and already that tyre difference seems to have made a huge mark on this race. Kyle now will have another chance of an overtake up the inside. Brakes a little late. Dan the man gives him the room. The two of them side by side again. Dan the man, though, for now holds on to P3.
Yeah, he does indeed. Kyle's looking round the outside through turn number 6. Is he going to try and be able to make it stick? I think Dan just holds on for the time being.
Brilliant racing throughout this. The last 12 laps have been absolutely fantastic. Corey not seeming to gain any time on 9 at the moment, but sitting in a gap that he knows is good enough to take the victory off them. Kyle will have plenty more chances to get through on the Ferrari driver. JD and CJH right behind these two also think they'll have a chance of a podium position.
Yeah, they will indeed. Kyle's looking to the inside into turn 1. Is he going to make the move stick? Is he going to do what Dan did earlier? No, he's picked up a penalty though, as did CJ behind. And is Dan got DRS? No, he hasn't either. So it's actually JD who's got DRS on the pair of them. Is he going to get the double overtake? He's going to try one. He's definitely got Dan. And is he going to be able to get Kyle on this next straight?
This is brilliant from Jake. He saw his opportunity. Dan the man got overtaken by Kyle into turn 1. The three of them are going to go side by side here. They've got to be careful. You've got CJ right behind these three as well. Remarkable stuff. Argy bargy. Jake for now takes the position, and CJ is going to take all three of them, is he?
Yeah, he's going to take two of them. Jake Davis has got the pair of them, and then Jay Luke, Kyle and Dan, who were fighting for the last podium spot a minute ago, are now at the back of the queue and now battling for 5th and 6th.
Crucially, Corey's picked up a 3-second time penalty himself. Speed 19 carrying 2 penalties. Corey also now carrying 2 penalties. So Jake Davis, I think, would take the win of this race if he can sit within 3 seconds at the front. He's just a bit too far back at the moment. 5.1 is the gap. But yeah, this race is crazy.
Yes, it definitely is indeed. This battle for the podium isn't over until the fat lady sings, as they say. Coming around the first corner now on lap number 14 of this race. CJ's going to have the DRS on Jake Davis. Going in towards turn number 3 now. We've got Kyle behind. Is Dan the man? Dan the man's not going to be close enough this time round. I think he's going to sit back and wait and see what happens this time round, I think. Jake Davis gives a squeeze to CJ on the exit of the corner, and he's gone up wide there, but CJ hasn't lost too much from that, and he's still going to have a chance down into turn 4.
And both got to be careful of Carl as well, right behind, waiting to get through on those two bang wheels, and Carl for now sits behind the pair of them. This is brilliant. Austria always produces such great racing around this circuit, the slipstreams keeping the cars all bunched up, and you can see CJ in P3, Jake right behind, and Kyle still trying to get through the pair of them.
Yes, he is indeed. Kyle's trying to get back what he lost there. He was running P3 a couple of laps ago, and now he's looking to the inside, in towards turn 9. Don't do it here. But he's still going to try it. This is not going to end badly. Corey's picked up a penalty himself now, so I don't know what that does for the situation up the front door.
Yes, I think that's now 9 seconds that Corey is carrying. This is great news for Speed 9. Speed 9 looking very good to take this race win at the moment. CJH for now still holds on to P3, but Carl with another excellent chance to get the Red Bull driver here. He pulls to the left. Can he now get through the Red Bull of Jake Davis? Jake Davis trying to hold on to that 4th place. It's been an excellent race from him so far. He's gained 3 places from where he started P7, and for now still looking to get close to CJ whilst he also tries to defend from Kyle.
Yes, it is indeed. CJ's going to hang on. So
Aiden's passed Phil to P7.
Yes, he has. Nothing has changed in this midfield scrap. Jake Davis had a lock up into turn 4 though, and I think Kyle was all over the back of him, but I don't think he's going to be able to look for a move into turn 6. No, he isn't. No move there. So still line of stern.
Oh! Sorry, Carl almost lost the car. He caught it somehow. He lost the back end. He tried to grab the steering wheel and he just about kept it facing the right way around. Sorry to interrupt there. Carl almost crashing out. Championship leader. That's the last thing he needed around here. His teammate Jay was having a disastrous race down at 9th. But as I said before, Aidan Griffiths on the ultimate strategy now P7 from the back of the grid.
He is, and he's only 3 seconds behind this group with 3 laps to go. Maybe he can find himself on the tail of this group on the final lap and maybe gain himself a couple of positions. CJ's picked up a penalty. Jake Davis, he's got the DRS wide open. This train of 4 once again heading towards turn 3. I think they're going to be line astern once again. Maybe Dan looking for a move up the inside into turn number 3. There's going to be slight contact. No, there isn't. They've just about kept it clean. And now it's the run down to turn 4 where we all do the same story again. Kyle all over the back with the DRS open on Jake Davis. Jake Davis DRS open in the Red Bull, and because they're all together, line astern, DRS train pulling each other along. No one can really pass each other.
And this is good news for the front two. Corey carrying 9 seconds where the penalties will want these cars behind to keep fighting, keep scrapping. They're both losing each other time. All 4 of these cars losing each other time. CJ, JD, Kyle and Dan the man. And Aidan Griffiths is catching this pack very quickly. He's just 2 seconds back now. With the yellow flag in the second sector for a spinning house. I think that's speed risky. So he's lost it, we think. But yeah, this is great news for Aidan, who's catching this for a very quick race.
Yeah, he is. It means Chiapelli puts himself up into P12 overall in this race. But meanwhile, this train is now going to be a 5-car train any second now. Aidan's made up a second and a half on this train, on this lap alone. And there's a bit of front wing damage. Who is that for? I didn't quite catch it. Kyle.
Jake Davis.
Oh, Jake Davis, they're gonna, oh, this is gonna end in tears probably. This is gonna end in tears, I reckon. Are they gonna keep it clean? Jake Davis just about holding on. He's just about held it on, actually. Fair play, guys, but someone's got front wing down. Oh, no, it has ended in tears with Dan. And Aiden's going to have the momentum in P7 to get down into P6, probably. Down up the inside, probably into turn 4. We go. He's going to go for it. Side by side round turn 4. They're still going to be side by side on the exit, but I think Aiden with the fresher rubber and the ball grip. No! Dan the man holds on, actually. I don't know where to look anymore. Aiden's in the gravel, and I don't think I'd be too happy with that one, the Force India driver.
It's so good to see the Erling Griffins of old back looking really racy. We've got Kyle overtaking Jake into P4. It was Jake that hit Kyle into turn 1, but let's go back to the front because we've got Speed 9 and Corey. Now less than half a second between them. Corey's got a great chance of taking the win, at least on the road here. He's carrying more time penalties, but he'll want to cross the line first. He'll want to take that checkered flag before anyone else. He's currently 5 tenths back from Knighton. Can he get close enough to take the DRS and take the position? Will he go for a move? Will he feel he has to? He's 7 seconds clear of third. Third also carrying penalties in this race. So these two, if they're smart, will just get to the end. Don't necessarily have to overtake each other. Don't lose each other time. Speed 9 for now holds on to this lead. As Dan the man now looking to get past Jake himself, and he's done so.
Yeah, Dan the man up into P5 now. Jake Davis is really struggling with that front wing damage. Is Aiden going to be having him? And Phil Bardwell's now suddenly back into play with Aiden thanks to that mishap early on. Jake Davis going to look for the inside, probably into turn 4. Is he going to get the move done? No. Thinks better of it with the front wing damage. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. I don't think it's anything major. Corey is just about not going to be there for Knighton, so Knighton is probably going to pick up the victory on the road, Dom.
Absolutely remarkable race from Speed 9. He's absolutely put in a stellar performance here. He's going to take the win on the road, and I think he's going to take the win post-race as well. He's got the least amount of penalties of all these cars. Speed 9's a remarkable drive to win in Austria. It's 8 winners from 8 races, and Corey will finish second, but who's going to get the positions behind? Who's going to get the final place on the podium? Is Aiden going to sneak this with his lack of time penalties? For now, Kyle has it. Dan the man goes in 4th. Aiden up to 4th himself, just behind Kyle, and it's Phil who promotes himself to 6th, just ahead of JD. Great stuff.
Yeah. Great race. I had technical issues in the Norfolk data centre of TGP, but I caught most of that race, so it seemed like a cracking race for the most part where I was in the commentary box, but great race by the all down the field. We didn't know where to look at times.
Fantastic. Yeah, we were sport for choice. There was too much racing going on, unfortunately. Just when we thought we had a 5-car battle for P3, suddenly the top 2 decided to get involved in their own little fight in the final couple of laps. So fantastic. Hard to pick a moment to go with, but yeah, Speed 9, what a drive. Former TGP2 champion, holding off Corey to win at Austria, to make it 8 winners from the last 8 races. This has been a fantastic season. I have no idea who's going to win next at Silverstone.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to win, but cracking race here in TGP1. What a belter to mark the halfway point of the season. 18 laps around the Red Bull Ring. What more can you ask for? And we have our 8th different winner in 8 different races, with Speed 9 in the AlphaTauri, replicating Pierre Gasly's success that he had round Monza just last week, and winning in an AlphaTauri. Corey is going to come home in 2nd, and a podium for the title leader, Kyle, in 3rd. So we're going to have a full rundown of the results any second now. Speed 9 picking up the victory here in his AlphaTauri. Then we have Corey in 2nd, Kyle in 3rd, rounding out the podium. Aiden Griffin's getting himself from the back of the grid up into P4, very strong drive from him. Dan the man finishes in P5. Then we've got Phil Bardwell in P6, Jake Davis in P7, Jack Hickey P8, J Luke in 9th, and CJ rounding out the top 10. The rest of the finishers were Waze, Speed Risky, Speed Iceman, Kong Hoffner, Speed Newgarden, Kurt, and then a disqualification for Mr. Chiapelli. So that was the first race of the night around Austria, and Silverstone can produce great wheel-to-wheel racing as well, Dom. So what are we expecting there?
Well, I think more of the same will be very much appreciated. That was a fantastic race to follow. I'm sure I'll be watching that back later on. The drivers must have enjoyed that one. Bit of wheel margin towards the end, but there were some great moves, and Aiden Griffins to finish P. The alternate strategy really worked from there, and with the drivers in front all scrapping away for those positions, it paid off towards the end. Our first ever league victory in the top tier in TGP1. He'll be very happy with that fantastic race from the AlphaTauri driver. Corey, back on the podium places, had a poor week last time out, but returns to the podium step once again. Kyle, championship leader, picks up another consistent podium finish in P3.
He has indeed. So now we're getting ready to go for round number 12. I can't believe it. Round number 12 of the TGP1 Season 34 season here at Silverstone. It feels weird saying Silverstone. It's the 12th round of the season, don't it, Dom?
It does. This season has flew by. There is still, of course, another 10 races after this to go, I believe?
Yes, there will be another, 11 including this one. We were at the halfway point. 10 races after tonight left in TGP1 this season, and it's just flown by. Not going to be the closest title fight in the world, unfortunately, but we're seeing a lot of variety in the race winners in the field. But Kyle been so consistent in that first half of the season, he'll love to continue on in the second half.
Certainly so. Speed 9 becomes the 66th different race winner in TGP1, so great to see him take the top step in the top tier. Had a really good season when he won the TGP2 title a couple of games ago, and it's great to see him finally taste success in the top tier. But as you say, the title fight doesn't seem to be as close as you'd expect. 8 winners from 8 races, and yet for some reason Kyle finds himself so much further ahead than the other drivers. I think Corey and Dan are his closest challengers in this title race. So Kyle, once again on the podium, another consistent result, and if he keeps continuing this, he'll be on course for a first driver's title. So the Williams driver really impressing so far this season.
So, getting ready to go for Silverstone, second race of the night, the British Grand Prix. One of my personal favourite circuits on the calendar. I just love the high-speed flow of the circuit. Hardly any low-speed corners. I think there's maybe 2 on the whole circuit for low-speed sections, and it's just got a great flow to it, and I love these high-speed, fast-flowing circuits on the calendar. What do you think of Silverstone, Dom?
So Austria is probably my favourite circuit on the calendar. Silverstone, probably my least favourite. I don't know why, but for some reason me and Silverstone do not get on. Never seems to do very well when I race around it in TGP2. It's not one of my favourite circuits. It's great, of course, to have our home circuit for the British drivers out there. But I don't know. I think I prefer the old layout. I don't know if you prefer the old layout, Owen, the one pre-2010, or if you're a fan of this new version.
I'm torn. I liked both of them because I like the old layout, especially Bridge Corner. That's a corner I do miss playing on the games. Bridge Corner, very tricky left-hander to go through under the bridge. The car's bottoming out, and it's almost flat. It probably would be flat in these current modern-day cars, that corner, and then you're into Priory, and then downshifting into Brooklands after that. But on this layout, you do get a longer sweeping run into Brooklands. You can carry more speed around the Brooklands corner into Luffield, and then you've got flat-out cops, maggot speckets, all that. So for the most part, I probably would prefer this layout just because there's more room for overtaking as well with that second DRS zone.
Yeah, I think both versions are fan favourites between the drivers in TGP1. Now we go into Silverstone with the chance, of course, for another new race winner, and Corey hasn't won since the opening week, and Corey, of course, reigning champion, just hasn't seemed to be able to carry that form over from last season. The first week went so well for him. He won both races, Australia and Bahrain, but for some reason hasn't seemed to be able to get those results since the opening week. I don't know what it is, if it's pressure or maybe he's just making too many mistakes. But yeah, Corey, for some reason, too far back in this championship.
Yes, he is unfortunately too far back. He's missed a couple of races, hasn't he, which hasn't helped his situation. Dan the Man, I think, is the next nearest contender to Kyle that's actually attended every race this season, I think, Don.
So Kyle has been the standard driver from this season. He's only won one race. In fact, will we see, potentially, the first ever champion to win a championship with one race win? That'd be quite a record. I think you have the record at the moment, Owen, for fewest amount of wins for a title. I think was it 3 or 4 in TGP2?
It was 3, the first TGP2 title I took. I only won 3 races that season. But the key is consistency when you want to win a championship these days. If you want to win a title, you've got to be consistent over the season, not necessarily winning, but getting those seconds, those thirds, like Kyle has been all season long. It's a dry qualifying here for the start here at Silverstone. I don't know what the wet race conditions are going to be, but a dry condition qualifying, that's certainly going to be good for the lap times. Tyre wear is not really an issue on this circuit, is it, Dom?
No. It will not be, especially if the rain does show. We seem to have high chances of wet races around Silverstone, but it's a dry qualifying. We're expecting a dry race. We'll get confirmation on that for you all shortly. But yeah, tyre wear, not a major issue around here, so everyone will most likely do the soft to medium or medium to soft. Even if there's a safety car on that one, drivers will probably pit for the medium tyres for the rest of the race. But qualifying here should be very interesting. Can we see Corey take another pole position? He's got the most, I think, this season. Unable to convert most of them into race wins. But yeah, it's been a good season from Corey in terms of qualifying results. Of course, he's had pole position back in Australia, Bahrain and Vietnam. Took 3 of the first poles of the season, and of course took a 4th in Austria. Can he make it 5 in Great Britain?
Meanwhile, I think Kyle will be the first car out onto the circuit of the drivers, and the championship leader wanted to get out there and make his mark on this qualifying session early, Dom.
Yeah, the drivers all going out now for their first of most likely 3 runs around this circuit. A bit longer than Austria, so drivers will not be getting 4 runs in this time around. The drivers now onto the track. We've got championship leader Kyle out there. He is the first of the runners to get out onto the circuit. 2 minutes into the session, we've got 16 minutes left to go. No rain expected this time, as I said before, so unlike Austria, where we didn't see any final laps from the drivers, we should be seeing a thrilling conclusion here. Kyle, this is a circuit he really likes, so this is a real chance for him to take a second victory. His only victory so far coming around the streets of Baku. And yeah, most drivers now out there on circuit to get their first laps in.
So yeah, he is indeed just warming up the car, ready to go for a flying lap around this 5.8 kilometre circuit. Second longest on the calendar this year. Only Spa is a longer circuit. Very short race. I think it's only about 13 laps to the race here. And like we mentioned previously, tyre wear is not going to be an issue. So we're going to watch on board with Kyle, talking for a lap round this circuit. So coming into the club chicane now. Needs to be careful on the exit. It is very easy for the back end to step out, and now he flings himself onto the main straight for the first time in this qualifying session. Flat through the first corner, that is Abbey. Flying through, no problems there for Kyle. Now heading into the first hairpin, that is turn number 3. Down to third gear, then down to second gear maybe for the second hairpin, and then he flings himself through Aintree and onto the Wellington straight. The DRS is going to be wide open on that Williams, and he's building up the speed, ready to go down towards braking about the 100 metre board for Brooklands corner, down to 4th gear. Nicely get a late apex there, and then it's double apex through Luffield. It was an early first apex, a late second apex, and you get a good exit, and then you're potentially flat. Well, you're going to be flat in these cars pretty much all the way to about halfway through Maggots and Beckett's now, as he gone through Woodcote, the old pit straight there, and now through Copse, flat as you like. Heading towards Maggots and Beckett's now. He's going to be flat through the first part most likely, flat through the second part, maybe a downshift for the final part. There it is, small downshift, and then he has to brake properly for the final part, that is Chapel. And out onto the hanger straight now. He's only got a couple more corners to go already on this lap, heading towards Stowe corner. He's going to brake roughly about the start of the curve there, through Stowe corner in 6th gear, about 150 miles an hour, and now he's just got 3 more corners to go, the club chicane and then the little kink onto the start finish straight, through the club chicane nicely as you like, and now getting the traction on through the kink. And what's his lap time going to be? It's a 24.5 to kick off the session.
Good lap from Carl, 24.5. What can your drivers now do to respond? Who will be next through to set their lap? We've got the Renault of Mr. Chiapelli about to complete his first time run. He crosses the line. Where can he go? A 1:26.5, so 2 seconds back. Normally where you'd expect him to be. Not normally at the front this season. He'll be returning most likely to TGP2 next season to try and win a second title in the second tier. Not quite worked out for him, unfortunately, in the top tier. Luca, Mr. Chiapelli, as Risky goes into P2, and Dan the Man for now takes over P2. Still a second back there from Kyle as Jake invalidates his lap, so he will not be improving on his run. We've got the Alfa Romeo of Court about to complete his first lap, a 1:36.3, so a bit further back from the current front times.
Knighton's put himself into P4, just trying to see who else is on flying lap. Jay Luke's just started a flying lap in the Williams coming down the Wellington straight. He's got a fair bit of traffic down that straight of Chiapelli and Risky.
He does. Corey's only now just starting his first time lap, so left it a little later in this session. And yeah, lots of traffic down the back, as you can see. But Corey, on a lap at the moment, can he set a quicker time than a 1:24.5 from Kyle and take over at the front?
Yeah, Iceman just put himself up into P4 as we see J. Luke flat through Copse now. I think he's the next person to come across the line. That's actually on the flying lap as he heads into Maggots and Beckett.
Let's see then what these drivers can do. Who was it you were watching there, Owen? Who was it you were on board with? As Con Hoffman has made a mistake in the second sector. He spun round, so that's
I'm
not
on board
what he
with
needed.
J-Luke at the moment as he's coming through the second sector. He's going to be the next car to probably set a competitive lap time and maybe challenge Kyle for that pole position. Looking like a good time at the moment, that 24.5, 8 tenths clear of anyone else, but we've got J-Luke coming through the club chicane himself now, and what's his time going to be? Good traction out that exit. What's his time going to be? J-Luke puts himself second, half a second off.
So it's Williams 1-2 as things stand. J-Luke seems to have dropped back a bit from his teammate towards the last few weeks of the season. Corey has invalidated his time, so he'll dive into the pits and have to go again. That's the last thing Corey needed. Already halfway through the session he'll be before he actually sets a first time run in this session, so not what he needed. I think only Con Hoffman is out there on circuit at the moment, about to settle out, but he himself is of course returning to the pits after his mistake. And the reigning TGP2 champion not off to the best start so far here in qualifying. 8 minutes gone in the session and 10 drivers to set lap times.
So yeah, 10 drivers so far setting lap times. We've got Aiden just warming up for a flying lap. Waze, I think, has just started a flying lap in the Renault as he goes through the hairpins. I believe they are Village and the Loop. I don't know if those names have changed, but Village and the Loop, and he flings himself now onto the Wellington straight. Aiden just lining up for a flying lap himself in the tracing point, coming through the club chicane, and hopefully he won't invalidate it this time round. He needs to get a clean lap in this session.
Yeah, Aiden believes he's found a bit more pace in recent weeks. Seems to have struggled so far this season. Did really well last season. Just missed out on P3 overall. Khalifa edging him in by just a single point it was in Abu Dhabi, thanks to Aiden's poor final race. But this time, for whatever reason, on this new game, doesn't seem to have carried that pace over with him. However, he did say before tonight he had found a little of that former pace, and in Austria we saw him go from the back of the grid right through to P4. So can he build on that now? Can he finally get himself back in the fights for the podiums and maybe the fights for the race wins? The Racing Point driver looking to now set a time that will challenge those up front. It's currently a Williams 1-2 with Dan and Phil occupying that second row. Jack Hickey, a 125.5, a second off, is in P5. Iceman, Risky and Knighton just behind him. So what can Aiden do as he comes through this second set? They're through Cops. Maggots and Beckett's a really tricky section to get right. It's so easy to cut a corner or maybe lose the back end and spin round. You've got to keep it so careful, so tight though still. What can Aiden Griffiths do? He's looking to try and get himself right at the front. Can he probably get in between those two Williams drivers, Kyle and J-Luke? Still, I think, in fact, no, one of them has left the pit lane. Kyle is on an lap now. J-Luke's sitting in the pit lane, changing his tyres. Waze is the first casualty of this session. He will not be setting a lap. He's made a mistake in the first set. He just lost the back end and straight into the wall for him. Not what he needed. Aiden Griffiths round the final corner. Can he challenge those at the front? He crosses the line. Where did he go? It's a 125.0, just behind J-Luke in second.
Yeah, just behind J-Luke in second there. Like you were saying, through Maggots and Beckett, it's very easy to lose the back end if your car is not well balanced. I've found that out in previous seasons in TGP2. If you don't have a balanced car through that section, it's very much a handful, and you really struggle. Kyle is now on his second flying lap of the session as he heads in toward Brooklands.
Indeed he is. Kyle looking to improve on that time he set so far. I said Kyle was the one to watch here. He's really quick around this circuit. For whatever reason, it just seems to flow a lot better than where it does anywhere else. Kyle has set a good first sector time. What can he do in this second sector? I think you've got to really nail that second sector, get every corner right if you want a chance at pole position here. It's so twitchy through Maggots and Beckett's if you've not got the setup just to your liking. But Kyle looking very confident at the moment. 5 tenths clear of his teammates, 5 tenths clear of anyone else. And can he find more time through this second sector? He's about to cross the line now, so we'll find out very shortly. He's just down on his current best, but he can find time in the final sector moment.
Yes, he can. He's coming through Stowe corner now. He's going to be down to about 6th gear. Like I said, 140 miles an hour. Very quick corner, Stowe corner, to finish off the lap. And then you've just got the club chicane. Needs to get good traction, as is it's so key to fling yourself onto the start-finish line. Thankfully, here, for most drivers, I think, the start-finish is actually quite early on. And he's gone quicker by 10th.
He has, so he's gone even quicker. A 124.4 is the new benchmark to beat. He will come back into the pits now and set another lap time towards the end of the session. So what can those now behind do to challenge? Down the man is in his Ferrari. He is currently 2 tenths quicker, but that is not going to be enough. He's currently about 9 tenths back from the pace of Kyle. So Dan might be 2 tenths up, but it's not what he needs to be. That one, in fact, will only put him, well, keep him in P4, in fact. Not quite good enough to challenge J-Luke and Aiden, but Dan did make a slight mistake in the final sector, and another 2 tenths found in the middle sector. So if Dan can hook it up, there's a real chance he can at least go into P2 and put himself on the front row of the grid.
Yeah, that would be so important for Dan. Wants to keep the pressure on Kyle. He's probably his near after tonight, who will be his nearest challenger in the championship. Corey's put himself in that gap as well with a 24.7. He's gone P2. What can Dan the man do? He's done a 24.6 and puts himself P2.
And Speed Iceman now will be the next one through. The second Ferrari driver right behind him. There is Speed 9 looking confident after his race win in Austria. Can Speed Iceman improve? Speed 9 certainly will. Speed 9 crosses the line and goes 6th, whilst Iceman stays in 11th. Konhofen, I think, will be the next runner through on a lap. He's yet to set one. He'll be the 14th driver to set a lap round his final couple of corners now. The McLaren driver, the reigning TGP2 champion. What can he do? It's not going to be a time that will challenge the front, but it'll certainly be a good one. It's into P7 and right into the midfield.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm watching Phil Bardwell. I've just caught him as he was trying to get some toe off a slowing Chiapelli and nearly clipped the back of him on the Wellington straight, but thankfully didn't. Still continuing on with his lap now. He's gained about half a second in that middle sector, and that would put him right up in 4th position as it stands if he keeps on this pace. So he's just got a couple more corners to go in his Red Bull. Down to 5th gear, needs to get the run. Oh, there's cars everywhere coming through Stowe corner. Thankfully, they're all out the way just about for him as he comes out club chicane now. What's his lap time going to be? It's going to be a 24.7, and that puts him into P4.
All drivers then will be back into the pit lane for their third and final runs. We've got Aiden and CJH now on outlaps preparing to begin their laps, but the rest of the cars now in the pit lane or returning to the pits. In fact, Jack Hickey, I stand corrected, is currently on a quicker lap in the racing point, the second racing point, currently just outside the top 10. Not necessarily an advantage to start outside the top 10 and get clean tyres here, because tyre wear not really an issue as you mentioned before, Owen. Can Jack Hickey find some pace? Mr. Chiapelli currently inside that top 10, still looking for his first points of the season, 12 rounds in. What can Jack Hickey do then in the racing point? He's got his teammate behind him, about to start his next and third final lap. Jack Hickey crosses the line and goes 5th. What a lap.
Yeah, he was only 2 tenths up after sector 2, but he's managed to find 4 tenths in that final sector and put himself up into P5, knocking Chiapelli out of the top 10. See if anyone else is on a flying lap as it stands. I don't think they are. Actually, that's a lie. Kurt is on a flying lap in the Alfa Romeo as he exits the far section. That is Chapel. Down the hanger straight, and he's just got a couple more corners to go, Dom.
Yeah, well, can he improve on his time? Will he find the time he needs to get himself a little further up the leaderboard as things stand? Speed Newgarden is coming around the final corner as well. I don't think he's going to find any time. I think he's just, in fact, starting a new lap. Caught then around the final corner. What can he do with the Alfa Romeo? Can he go into that top 10? He can't. It's P13.
Yeah, very tight qualifying session there. Looking at all the times being set so far, only 1.4 seconds covering the entire field, Dom.
Very, very close, isn't it? And you can see the man just 2 tenths back from Kyle at the front. 3 tenths the difference between the top 4. 4 tenths between the top 5. We said that Kyle set a very good lap. Seemed to just blow away the opposition, but those behind have now started to respond. Will we see even quicker times third time round as the drivers prepare for one final run? But yeah, I think standout so far has to be Jack Hickey back into P5, and Phil Bardwell so far in excellent 4th position.
Yeah, he is indeed. I'm just on board with Aiden now as he's coming through the club chicane. He is on a flying lap as it stands. What's his time going to be? Is he going to improve on this P7? He comes across the line and puts himself up into P4. Good
lap from Aiden Griffin's P4. He said he found pace. He's certainly doing just that. CJH 87 is currently in P9, and that has looking to find more time. But I think the Williams of Kyle has just started his third and final run, Owen.
Yes, he has indeed. He's coming through the first couple of corners now. Is he going to improve and find more time? He's currently 2 tenths clear of everyone else, and he wants to maybe find some more time and make that margin a bit more comfortable for himself when everyone does their final runs in this session. What's his sector 1 time going to be? Is he going to be up on it? He's actually slightly down, but it's still salvageable if he wants to improve his time, Dom.
It is a long way around this track yet to try and find a bit more pace. And if he wants to go even quicker than a 1:24.4, that might already be enough for pole position. We don't know just yet, of course. It depends what Dan, Corey, Aiden, Phil can all do behind. J. Luke, of course, will want to find time as well. His teammate currently down in P7, only 6 tenths off. So that is already 3 rows back. He will be starting on the 4th row as things stand. But Kyle looking quick at the moment through the second sector.
Yeah, he is indeed. Let's see what the second sector split time is going to be. He's still slightly down. He's going to try and get the slipstream off the tracing point in front of him. as he heads into Stowe Corner. He's still got about a tenth to find if he wants to improve on his current pole time as he goes around Stowe and into the club chicane.
Can Kyle find more time? 1:24.4 is his current fastest lap. Can he go even quicker? Can he blow away the opposition once more? Round the final couple of corners, where can he go? The Williams driver looking to extend his gap at the front. Crosses the line and does not improve. Just less than a tenth slower than his previous best.
Yeah, so I think that's Kyle's session done there. So he's going to hope and pray that no one else goes and beats that time.
He's next.
Got little margin as we see Jake Davis come through the club chicane, and he's going to set his first lap time of the session, and he puts himself into P9 for the time being. I think the next runner out on circuit, Corey's on an out.
It's J Luke, final corner. Can he go and get himself out the front? He goes P2. Just 300s off his teammate. A very good lap from J Luke. I was watching him at the end. He hooked up every corner perfectly, and for now just misses out on that P1.
Yeah, I think everyone's starting to come out. Everyone's either gone early with their final run and getting it out of the way, or they're out on an out lap now, ready to go for their final run. Corey will be the first one to cross the line to do his final run, coming out towards Abbey Corner now.
What then can Corey do? Looking, as I said, for a 5th pole position of the season. He's got to find 3/10. Can he topple the Williams driver off the front? Will it be an all-Williams front row? Both drivers really do like this track. Corey looking to get himself once again back on the winning. I think Corey's the best bet for this winning streak of 8 winners to continue into 9. If Corey can win here, it'll be 9 from 9. So Kyle then does lead at the moment, just 300s clear of J Luke Court. His session is done. He will not set another lap time. He's left it a bit too late, unfortunately, for him. Now we've got drivers now crossing the start-finish line to begin their final laps. Kyle is done for the session, so 1:24.4 is the best time that he will set. 1:24.5 is the best time that J Luke will set from this session. What can Corey do about the Williams drivers? He's got to find 3/10. We'll find out very shortly just how quick he is through the second sector. He's straight onto the DRS. He's got all of his airs to use. He's currently a 10th up, so that would put him right ahead of Dan into P3. Dan, the man himself, is just starting his final lap now, just getting across the line in time. Loads of drivers coming through the final couple of corners, but it is Corey now who's just a bit far back, won't be distracted by that trio ahead. What can the Mercedes driver do around the final corner? Is it enough for pole position? It is a 1:24.3, a remarkable lap from Corey. Straight up at the front. Fantastic from him. Speed Newgarden behind him. Sorry, I think it was Speed 9 just starting a lap. But Corey, a 1:24.3. What a lap. And that's a fantastic time from him. Will we see anyone go quicker than that? We got Dan the man currently just quicker than that. Phil Bardwell is down. He's just got a couple more corners to negotiate. Jack Hickey also looking quick. Aidan Griffins is not getting enough time to get a new lap in, I don't think. Unfortunately for him. So Jack Hickey, I think, will be the next one through then. What can he do? He's currently 500ths of a second up. Whether that'll be enough to put him into the front 3 rows, we'll have to wait and see. He crosses the line and does indeed go into P5, just about goes ahead of his teammates. So Dan the man, all eyes turn to the Ferrari driver. This 79-time pole sitter, can he make it the big 80 here around Silverstone? 1:24.3 is the time to beat. Can he go quicker than the Mercedes driver has set so far? He doesn't, he just misses out, but he's on the front row. And he just slots in front of Kyle, who didn't improve on his final lap and will start better than third. Only improving by much, so I think it is just down to CJH in 11th position. Aidan did not start his lap in time, so he is just about returning to the pit lane. But yeah, what a time that is from Corey. That will be pole position. That's 3, I think, on the bounce now. That is his 5th pole position of the season, so fantastic stuff from him. Dan the man will be happy with P2, just missing out on that pole time. But I think I'll be very pleased to see Kyle, the championship leader, starting behind him, and J Luke in P4. Will he be able to get in front of his teammates down into turn 1? And CJH is P8 for this race, so qualifying is now complete. And we prepare for the race here around Silverstone. So your rundown from qualifying then, it is Corey on the front row alongside Dan the man. 1:39 was the difference in terms of time. Dan the man just missing out, but just beating Kyle in P3. It's going to be a Williams second row, a Racing Point third row, with Phil edging his teammates. Jake back in 11th, Phil in 7th. We've got the Haz of CJH87 starting this race from PA, Iceman and Knighton on the 5th row in 9th and 10th. Jake Davis, as I said, P11, alongside Kong Hoffner, Mr. Chiapelli and Courts behind them. On the next row, Speed Newgarden, Speed Risky and Waze behind them. So then, here we are. It's the 12th round of the season. We've got an exciting grid to look forward to here. Who will be victorious around this Silverstone circuit? So it is dry skies, no rain here, the rain not making an appearance, and the skies look pretty clear. So I don't think we'll be seeing any rain at any point during this race. Can Knighton build on his previous race masterclass, winning in Austria, his first win in the top tier, but only starting P10 here in Silverstone? Austria is a funny one. It seems to suit drivers where drivers may not do better anywhere else. It seems to be a track that anyone can just pull out the bag. An unbelievable performance to take a race win, as we saw from Knighton. Here we go then, 5 lights will flash in front of you here, then they'll flash off and we'll be away racing here in TGP1. It is a fantastic start from Corey at the front, down the man looking to get him through into turn 1, but for now it's all clean. Kyle will look to keep back his teammate, down the man getting very racy behind. They fly into turns 1 and 2 and it is Corey who for now holds the position. Here's Kyle, still in P3 ahead of his teammate at the racing point behind of Aiden, looking to get through on the Williams driver. It's a disastrous start. I think Speed Risky already in the background, but it's a good start from the front 3. They've kept their positions, no real movers. Aiden Griffiths did temporarily get ahead of J-Luke, but has dropped back through again. A good start from Jake in P8 already from P11 on the grid. Great to see that, but here we go. Kyle getting very close to down the man behind. Behind him, he's got his teammate of J-Luke. Aiden also in P5. Knighton has passed Iceman. In the background, we've got CJH getting very close between those two, but sticking with the front. Just two Williams drivers will want to make a move on P3 and P4. J-Luke knows this is his final chance to really get a say in this championship hunt. If he's too far back in the coming weeks, surely he'll have to play second fiddle to his teammate Kyle in the championship hunt. Kyle, for now, in P3. Pit stop strategy we expect to be around laps 7 to 12 on the medium tyres, or maybe the hards, if you're an idiot and want to stay out until lap 9. Not quite sure when anyone wants to do that. But here we go, it is Corey who leads by 5 tenths from down the man. Corey looking to make it 9 winners from 9 races. We've got Aiden Griffiths on the back of J-Luke looking to get through. Also further back, Phil Bardwell very close to the second racing point of Jack Hickey, but can Aiden make a move into the final couple of corners on J-Luke? Coming a bit too far back, unfortunately for him. DRS will be active from lap 3 onwards. Drivers need to be careful of corner cut penalties. We saw how much of a difference it made around Austria. Not so much of a challenge around here, not so easy to do, but still very good racing to be expected. Phil Bardwell just a tenth back from Jack Hickey in P6. We know Phil knows. He loves a good dive bomb. Will we see him make one here? But it's still single file at the moment throughout the field. Very clean start from all these drivers. Mr. Chiapelli's picked up front wing damage in the background. I think he's spun by himself, unfortunately for him. So he's lost it, tagged the wall, and has had to come in for new front wing. Again, looks like he'll be scoring no points in this race. Down the man is just about holding off Kyle in P2. Kyle looking very racy. He'll want to improve. He knows he could have set pole position in qualifying. Didn't quite set the lap he needed on his third run. He had qualifying, he had pole position for about 14 minutes of that 18-minute session. Corey snatching it in the final parts of that qualifying. As we can see, we've got Phil Bardwell still right behind Jack Hickey, and then Aiden still chasing the Williams of J-Luke, and Carl still chasing down the man. Second and third, we could see a change of position here for P2. If Dan isn't careful, it's a good exit though. And Carl for now does have to sit behind, but Aiden looking very racy behind J-Luke. Can he get himself into the top 4? He's found the form of his former self. It's good to see him back racing again at the front. Can he finally take a first podium of the season? It's crazy to think he hasn't won already. Almost signed himself as a winner at the Netherlands Grand Prix. Was leading after a remarkable race. Watch that back if you haven't seen it. Fantastic stuff there. Changeable conditions, and somehow Aiden found himself at the front despite having no pace. And unfortunately disconnected from the session and did not take the win in the end. Instead it went to J-Luke, who probably would have been named, to be fair, because of the late call onto the dry tyres that weren't a right treat around that circuit. So it is still single file, the top 7 exactly where they started this race. Jake and 8th has gained 3 places. Kong also gaining 3 places in P9, Speed 9 in P10. Only going to be a point for him at the moment, despite his win last time out at the Austrian Grand Prix. But let's keep an eye on strategies in this race. I think the drivers have largely gone for soft tyres. There's only Speed Newgarden and the Speed Risky at the background to have chosen to start this race on the medium tyre. Speed Risky already, in fact, into the pit lane, so it's changed to the mediums from the softs. We said drivers may just pit at the end of the first lap for mediums because the tyre wear is not a big thing here. Phil Bodwell very close to Jack Hickey. There's a sector 1 yellow flag. Will that result in a virtual safety car or safety car? Yet to see one tonight. Phil Bodwell getting very close to Jack Hickey, going on the grass, and that's not going to help him. That's the last thing he needs to do if he wants to get through on the Racing Point driver. Got to be careful, can't afford, and here's a safety car. So surely now the drivers will all dive into the pit lane and switch onto the medium tyres. Corey will dive into the pit. Surely you'll be an idiot to stay out. Indeed they do. The drivers all pit, and this means J. Luke in P4 is going to have to queue behind his teammate. There is a rule, he can back off just enough amount to give his teammate a bit of a distance, a bit of a gap, but unfortunately for J. Luke, he's going to have to queue behind his teammate, and that's the last thing he needed. This is the downside of having two strong drivers, and I don't want to say anything here, but if Corey's not careful, the second Ferrari Speed Iceman will come into the pit lane. Corey has been released, he's okay, but yeah, the Ferraris were going to have to queue. The Mercedes would have been stuck in the pits and unable to be released, but Jack Hickey, the only driver who appears to have stayed out for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that would be. He was looking very good, but he's caught the safety car already. And it's a disaster for Dan the Man. Dan the Man now down to P7 and at P6. So that's not what he needed. Held up in the pits quite a lot. But Kyle into P2 and J. Luke disastrously down into 10.
Yeah, disaster indeed for J. Luke. Down having to do that double stack in the safety car period that was caused by Newgarden having an off at the exit of Cops. So not ideal indeed. Jack Hickey is a bit surprised why he hasn't pitted yet, to be honest. He was maybe trying to avoid the double stack, but surely you're better off doing the double stack and having your pit stop done already, especially how long it takes to do a pit stop on this circuit, than staying out and waiting an extra lap, wouldn't you say, Dom?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not quite sure why you would stay out, especially if he pits this time round. I don't see where you gain time. Jackie's going to drop to the back anyway. Even if he stays out, it's going to be a sit and duck, because Corey, Kyle, Aiden are all going to be quicker on the new, quicker tyres. And Jack is going to find large parts of his race just fighting cars that he doesn't need to be in. So, yeah, a bit puzzled by that strategy. This is great news for the likes of Mr. Chiapelli, Speed Iceman, and Speed Risky, who can now all catch up to the back of the safety car after that early race spins. But yeah, Corey will continue to lead this race. You suspect when he passes Jack Hickey soon after the safety car, will Corey be able to clear that racing point as easy as he thinks he will? We'll have to see what Jack Hickey does this time around, but I think he will stay out now and commit to this strategy.
Yeah, I think that's his only option, really. We've seen Jordan come in straight after the first lap in the safety car in TGP2 last week, and it's ended up make his life very difficult for him, and he was leading the race before the safety car, and he ended up coming home in P5, so a bit of a done goof there by the AlphaTauri crew in TGP2. Not the same issue for them in TGP1, but Jack Hickey at Racing Point has got the same issue, but he's decided to commit to staying out longer, and he'll probably go to about around 8, maybe lap 9 or 10, and then chuck on the mediums for the last couple of laps. Meanwhile, no difference in strategy on the tyre compounds further down the field. Everyone committed to the mediums, unlike TGP2, where there's a bit of a mixed strategy. Some people committed to the mediums, some committed to the hards, and yeah, no mixed strategy here. Everyone committed to the mediums. Probably helps that the safety car was a bit later on this time.
So yeah, a great gainer was Waze in all of this. He's gained 8 places into P9. Looking for a points finish at the moment, looking very good. He's jumped J. Luke, who of course had to queue behind his teammate, but even still, J. Luke had to come in and queue, and he's P10, and it's only going to be about 3 or 4 seconds off Jack Hickey, who really should have also queued behind his teammate in the pit lane. Yeah, we saw, as you said, Jordan last week in TGP2 make the unusual strategy to stay out a lap and then pit the next lap and then drop to the back of the field. I don't think he will be making that mistake again.
No, it won't be indeed. Meanwhile, we've got Jack Hickey. Like I said, he'd probably stay out a little while. There's been a collision behind the safety car between Jake Davis and J. Luke. Jake Davis has picked up a 5-second penalty, which means he'll probably serve it at the end of the race because he's unlikely to stop again unless he's got front wing damage.
Yeah, not quite sure what that was about. That's the last thing those two drivers needed. Caught P12 at the moment. Disastrous start it was for CJH 87 down to 13. CJH actually crossed the line, I think, in 5th in Austria. and ended up with a 10th place finish because of his time penalties throughout that race. So easy to do. The field was so tightly gapped. And unfortunately for him, he did only get a point in the end from that race. But yeah, the safety car, I suspect, will come in this time round, and we will go racing again for the final 8 laps of this Grand Prix.
Yep, safety car is in this time. Corey is going to want to dispose of Jack Hickey, who's on those soft tyres fairly quickly in this race, and put a gap in between himself and Kyle. Aiden's currently a net third, and he's hoping his teammate can probably hold the field up and give him a chance to maybe go for the win in this race, Dom.
Indeed it will. Now, we saw in F1 at the weekend quite a disastrous restart behind the safety car at Tuscany. Hopefully no similar situations here. The drivers will get very close. Always gives me anxiety, this. Seeing the drivers get so close to one another, and they have gone.
Yeah, have gone indeed, as Jack Hickey's actually pulled a little bit of a gap. Aiden's all over the back of the Williams going through the first couple of corners. Phil Bardwell's got a good restart as well. He's all over the back of the racing point as they go across the line with about 7 laps to go in this Grand Prix here at Silverstone. But Jack Hickey leads from Corey, Kyle, and then Aiden, who's going to be hassling Harry and try and gain some positions and make sure he gets a good finish. One of his best finishes of the season, and that's what Aiden will be open for. And hoping his teammate can cause a bit of a stir at the front.
Danaman got very close to Kong Hoffner into turn 1, almost side by side. In fact, they were side by side. Danaman went up the inside to take the position. Kong just about held his corner round the outside to keep the position, to keep P6. But Danaman looking racy in speed 9 right behind the pair of them.
Yeah, down the man all over the back of Kong Hoffner still. That's the battle for P6 and P7. That'll be a net top 5 finish once Jack Hickey makes his pit stop. Jack Hickey, like we said, his strategy now is just try and make a gap at the front and hope for the best.
He's struggling though.
Yeah, he definitely will be struggling. He's got 5 lap older tyres. He's got 4 lap older tyres than the rest of the field. And Chiapelli's the only other guy on softs at the moment, and he had his own woes at the start of the race, Dom.
He did. Mr. Chiapelli made a mistake at the start, lost it by himself into the barriers. Front wing damage caused him to pit, but this safety car seems to have saved him a little bit. Lost a bit of time already behind Speed Iceman, so maybe he's just starting to struggle with this car. Mr. Chiapelli having a season to forget, a former TGP champion, not doing so well, but Corey now just 3 tenths back from Jack Hickey. Phil Bardwell just 3 tenths back from Aidan Griffin, so both racing points having to defend here. Yes,
they are indeed. Kurt's picked up another penalty for himself at the back of the field, and he's battling side by side with CJ. That is the battle for P11, the last of the points. Phil Bardwell all over the back of Aiden. Aiden hasn't really been able to progress on this restart, as Kyle and Kyle and Thingy have gone the right way. Meanwhile,
side by side,
looking to the outside of Kong Hoffner in the McLaren. Is he going to get the move done through the second part of this double hairpin section? I think he will. Yes, he has. He's given him a squeeze on the exit, and Knighton's looking for a move as well. Knighton's got himself up into P7. Meanwhile, up the front, we've got Corey looking to the inside in Brooklands, getting the move done on Jack Hickey, and now he's back into the lead of the race.
And Speed 9 still for now ahead of Kong Hoffner, also trying to get a move on down the man. These 3 fighting for P6, 7 and 8, which will become 5, 6 and 7. Once Jack Hickey makes his pit stop, these 3 getting very racy. Down the man needed to make the move on Kong Hoffner. He got it done finally, looking quicker. Now J-Loop on the back of the McLaren driver. Can he give Kong Hoffner another position in this race? Kong has dropped a place already to Dan and 9-9, right on the back of Dan 2.
Yeah, I was just looking on board with Kyle further up the field as he was looking for a move into Cops on Jack Hickey, backed out of it, and Jack Hickey actually nearly lost it on the exit of Cops.
Wow, that's the last thing he needed. Knighton struggling here. Kong Hoffner right behind him, and this might allow Kyle to get through around the outside. 9 almost loses it again for the second time in a couple of corners. That AlphaTauri not looking very confident around this track as J-Luke pulls to the right, pulls to the inside, and takes P8 from Kong Hoffner.
Yeah, good move there. Pretty textbook stuff. Well, Kong Hoffner's trying to come back at him as they go into the club chicane. He's going to be on the outside for the first apex. And is he going to try and sweep round? Yes, he is. He's going to hold on to the position, actually, Kong Hoffner, and remain in P8 further up the field. Things are starting to settle down. Kyle's going to have another attempt at Jack Hickey, I reckon, this time round.
Yeah, looking very good for Kong Hoffner at the moment. And yeah, Corey now able to try and pull a bit of a gap if he can. Jack Hickey, though, was sticking with him. Maybe the DRS is allowing the racing driver to stick with the Mercedes and, of course, the tow as well. Kyle needs to clear Jack Hickey soon if he wants to mount a real challenge for this race win. 6 laps to go here around Silverstone. Get close enough for a move down.
No, he isn't. Meanwhile, J-Luke further back is going to go sweeping past the McLaren of Kong Hoffner and into P8, into the Brooklands corner. Kong Hoffner, is he going to come back at him? No, he isn't. So Kyle is now probably the next person looking at a move, and he wants to get past Jack Hickey. He's really actually getting... Jack Hickey's not really in this battle for the win at the moment, so Kyle wants to dispose of him ASAP.
We've got drivers changing position corner by corner, lap by lap. This is brilliant stuff. Both races tonight proving fantastic racing throughout the field. And yet Jack Hickey somehow keeping to the back of the Mercedes driver. I thought he'd drop back once Corey got through, but sticking within a second, and Jack Hickey might this time choose to pit, especially with his teammate Aidan Griffiths. Maybe he'll stay out a lap longer to try and fend off Kyle and allow his teammate Aidan to catch up with him.
Yep, staying out another lap. So, heading into the club chicane. It's not really making it, if anything, Jack Hickey's actually closing up to the back of Corey again.
He is. The gap seems to be getting slimmer, so I'm not quite sure why Corey isn't able to pull away. For some reason, on those much older tyres, Jack Hickey is sticking with the Mercedes driver. Waze for now sits in P10, just about holding on to the final point position, but CJH has caught up with him and will be looking to get through very shortly. Throughout the field, we've got Phil Bartle now on the back of Aidan Griffiths in P4 and P5, and of course the front three, 1.2 separates them.
Yeah, meanwhile, I think Kyle's the closest he's been for a little while now on Jack Hickey, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough yet again, because Jack Hickey is getting the DRS benefit off the back of that Mercedes in front of him. So that's not going to help out Kyle at all. So Kyle may have more pace, but he just can't find anywhere to pass because of the DRS advantage that Hickey's getting at the moment.
Yeah, I'm very surprised by this, but it's fantastic for Kyle. They're just about sticking with Corey despite Corey having that gap at front. So, you know, Jack Hickey might not be helping Kyle here, but he's also not doing too much damage to him. Kyle will hope and pray that Jack Hickey does pit this time around though. He'll want those 4 laps to try and do something about Corey ahead of him. He's keeping his distance to Aidan. Aidan can't seem to be catching these front 3 despite his teammate trying to help him maybe, but Jack Hickey surely now has to pit and see where he comes out.
Oh, I think if he pits now, he's definitely going to be at the back of the field. And he's got good pace compared to the guys behind. There's actually a queue forming for 9th place. So maybe he's going to stay out a bit longer, but no, he's decided to pit. He's going to do 4 laps on the mediums to end this race.
And now we can say the battle at the front that we wanted. It's Corey versus Kyle, the reigning champion versus what seems to be the new championship favourite. These two are going to go toe-to-toe around Silverstone. A fantastic circuit, a fantastic scene for this fight that we're about to see. We pray that Corey and Kyle have a momentum battle here at the front. With 4 laps to go around this circuit, what can be the result? We've got Aidan Griffiths still holding on to that podium place, but Phil Bartle is not letting him go down the man. Has dropped back a little bit in P5, got 3 places from where he started. Not having the confidence around here. Con Hoffner, I think, has passed Speed Knighton, who may have disconnected. I think he has, yes.
Yeah, he has, indeed. There's a bit of a queue forming, actually, behind Con Hoffner for P7 now that Jack Hickey's pitted. Definitely a bit of a queue. There's about 4 or 5 cars all queuing up to make a move on that McLaren. Meanwhile, Kyle not really making any inroads onto the race leader. Now he's got clear of Jack Hickey coming into the pit box. Aidan's now finally starting to drop Phil Bartle in the battle for the final podium spot.
Mr. Chiapelli can sense a point. He's getting very close to Court, the Alfa Romeo driver, just about fending him off through the last couple of corners. Mr. Chiapelli needs to gain 20 places to get that first point of the season, but with Knighton disconnected, they're both about to gain a place. As here they go, Court through into P11. Surely Mr. Chiapelli will be up into P12 unless Knighton returns through this Maggots and Beckett section. I hope not. It'll be a dangerous place to rejoin. In fact, there he goes. He does rejoin through Maggots and Beckett. That's the last thing Mr. Chiapelli wanted to see.
Yeah, meanwhile, we've got CJ all over the back of Waze now. This is the battle for 8th place. Is he going to try and go around the outside at Stowe corner? No, not quite. He can't. He just doesn't have that grip on the outside to make a move done. And he sits behind for a couple of quarters. This battle is really forming. Iceman's just about keeping on the back of it, but it is a 3-way battle for this 7th place. Meanwhile, further up the field, Kyle is now finally starting to make some inroads on Corey.
The gap now, just half a second. What can Kyle do in these closing laps? 3 more laps he'll have to try and take the win from Corey. Can Corey hold on to take a 3rd win of the season? His first win since the Bahrain Grand Prix. Kyle's getting very close here, Owen.
Yeah, he is getting very close indeed. He's not going to be close enough to make a move into Brooklands this time round, so his next best opportunity will be Stowe corner at the end of the hang straight.
Indeed it will. We've got Aidan just seeming to be unable to match the pace of the front two. He's got enough pace to hold off Phil for 3rd. I think he'll be very content with 3rd place, his first podium of the season if he can hold on. We've got Wade in the background, still just 3 tenths behind Kong. CJ just 3 tenths behind him. These 3 fighting over the points in the midfield here, 7th, 8th and 9th. Mr. Chiapelli did eventually get ahead of Speed 9, who I believe has disconnected again. But yeah, battles throughout the field. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah, it is indeed. We've got this 3-car train for P7. We've got the battle for the lead. I think they're the 2 best battles on the circuit currently. And as feared, Jack Hickey has rejoined quite comfortably at the back of the field after not pitting under that safety car.
The gap is just 4 tenths between the front two. Jack Hickey is not going to score any points here. That strategy still really begoggles me what he was doing there. I'm not quite sure what he thought he was going to gain from that. He's dropped to the back of the grid. He clearly has the pace of the front drivers. We saw him challenge with Corey.
Well, sorry to interrupt you. CJ is down the inside of Waze into the club chicane. I think he's going to get the move done this time round. Yes, he is. He's up into P8 and Waze down to P9.
Nice move from CJH to take P8, looking for another points finish, as he did finish P10 in Austria. A good result for him inbound at the moment, but look at that gap at the front. It's less than half a second once again. What can Carl do in these closing laps?
Yeah, he's probably the closest he has been for a little while. I don't think he's going to quite be close enough to make a move into the Brooklands corner. No, he isn't. So again, he's going to have to wait for the hanger straight. He's only got 3 more opportunities realistically to go for a move on him now.
Corey carrying 2 warnings, so not a penalty yet, but if Carl can pressure him into a mistake, maybe go a bit over a corner, he doesn't need to on the final couple of laps, Corey would pick up a time penalty, and that would gift Carl the victory. So Corey's got to be careful, got to be smart, but he's the reigning champion for a reason. He knows what it takes to be at the top. Now he's got to hold off Carl for just 1.5 more laps, but look how close they are. The gap is so tight.
Yeah, the gap has been closing. There's a yellow flag. I think Chiapelli's got off in the Renault, but meanwhile the gap is very tight now. And closing and closing. Is Kyle going to make a move into Stowe Corner? I don't think he's going to be quite close enough this time round. No, he isn't. But he's inching closer and closer lap by lap. And maybe by the end of the Wellington Straight, he might finally be able to get this move done. But we're coming on to the final lap here at Silverstone. It's been a pretty decent race so far. And can it end with a grandstand finish?
Reigning champion versus championship challenger. Corey versus Carl for the race win here. 1 lap to go. Aiden looking like he's going to get P3 for now. Jake Davis has had an instant at the back. He's lost it through maggots and backets. He is out of this race.
He has indeed. Meanwhile, Kyle going through the loop section now onto the Wellington Straight for the final time. He's only got 2 more DRS opportunities. He's going to have the DRS wide open again. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to make a move into Brooklands. I think Corey has just done enough for this one overtaking spot. He tries everything. He breaks as late as possible, Kyle, in the Williams, but just can't get the move done yet.
In the background, Waze has overtaken CJH for P8 again, and we've got to stick with this battle at the front now. Unfortunately, we can't give them their TV time now because this is thrilling stuff. It's the final lap. It's about pride here. Corey looking for his first win since Bahrain. Carl looking for only his 2nd win of the season. He wants to win more than 1 race if he's going to win the championship. Consistent results are good. Will he just settle for P2 and take another 18 points haul? Luca becomes, I think, the 4th casualty in this race. But look at this. Not quite close enough, but he'll have a great chance on the next straight, Owen.
Well, it's a bit wide there from Corey coming out of Chapel Court. Is he going to be able to make a move into Stowe? He's going to be closing. He's going to use as much as he can. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. He's going to have to lunge it massively. He's got very close through the braking zone. He's a little bit wide on the exit. I think Corey's going to hang on to the race win. So through the club chicane for the final time in this race at the British Grand Prix, round 12 of TGP1, season 34. And Corey wins it in his Mercedes, followed by Kyle in 2nd. And Aiden is going to pick up the final podium spot in the racing point. Oh, no,
Corey picked up a time penalty at the very end, and Carl has stolen it from him. So I don't know where Corey got the penalty. Nothing came up on the screen, but Carl has taken the race win. I was about to say 9 winners from 9 races, but no. Carl takes his 2nd of the season, ends the streak, and what a disaster for Corey. He loses it at the very end. He must have cut a corner maybe in the last lap. And Kyle takes over the front. He takes the win. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Meanwhile, we've just seen the last few guys coming across the field. Here's Jack Hickey coming home in P12 in the end. Did beat a couple of guys, but I think they had their own problems. But bit of an odd distraction called by the racing point. But Corey must be kicking himself at losing a race victory that he pretty much had in the bag.
Yeah, so we thought that Corey had it. It looked like he was going to take the victory. But no, it's championship leader Kyle who will extend his championship lead. And what a win it is for him. Aiden did get his first podium of the season to take P3. We just waited for Mr. Chiapelli to finish the race. But yeah, what a race. Dan the Man just about almost stole P4 from Phil at the end. 4 tenths was the difference at the very end. Fastest lap did go to Corey, so Corey takes some consolation from losing the win, but I'm not sure I'll be happy with that. To lose it right at the end to his championship challenger Kyle as well.
Yeah, indeed, that's not exactly what he wanted from this Grand Prix, but Kyle will extend his championship lead once again. Waze has been given the drive of the day by the fans out there in the stands as we get ready to go through the final results. But there he is, Kyle, the Williams driver, picking up a race victory here at Silverstone. Kyle picks up the win. Corey's going to come home in 2nd after penalties, and Aiden picking up a podium for the Racing Point team in 3rd.
Wow, what a race it was then. So Waze did take drive of the day, started P17, finished in P10, so has taken a points finish from that race. It was very close, we saw, between Kong, Iceman, Leclerc and Waze at the background, and it was Kong who held on to take P7, gained 5 places from the race, just beat Iceman, CJH87 and Waze to that battle for P7 at the end. Caught just missing out on a points finish himself.
Yeah, so here we are. That was the British Grand Prix, a very exciting race indeed. And we've got 2 more next week coming up in Hungary and Belgium. Hungary going to be a very difficult race to overtake, so qualifying is going to be super important on that circuit. And Belgium, who knows with the weather that you normally get in Belgium, sometimes it could be absolutely chucking it down, and sometimes it could be glorious sunshine. So who knows for that one indeed. The unpredictability is there. But that has been your 2 races tonight in TGP1. Season 34, that has been rounds 11 and 12, Austria and Britain. And any final thoughts before we wrap things up, Dom?
Wow, well, what a race it was. Both Austria and Britain, fantastic stuff. I mean, yeah, I can't wait for next week already.
Yeah, indeed. So there have been your 2 races in TGP1. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time out for the Hungaroring in Hungary and Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for rounds 13 and 14. Thank you for watching this stream, and we will see you next time out. Goodbye.